here we go.
They're so good!
Alright. Here we go.
Hey, alright. It's gonna be a J Druid from Kolento and J4ckiechan on his yogg-saron warlock deck. This is a really bizarre one, but if you've been watching it all, you've probably seen it a couple of times now, and he has won games with it, so tried and true, tested, kid-tested, Jackie-approved warlock deck right here.
It's kind of weird that J4ckiechan starts with the warlock every single time, and yet Kolento chooses to start with the druid.
That is actually a little bit unusual. Jackie has started with the warlock every match that we have seen him in, which I think is 3 or 4 matches now, so that's a pretty significant sample size. If Kolento had gone back and done some research, maybe he would have been able to figure out Jackie's ban and lead.
Ooh.
But it is also just possible that Kolento didn't have a lot of time. You know, and part of the reason that there was such a big break between the second semi and the final was for J4ckiechan to have a little bit of time to scout Kolento, I'm sure, before going into the finals, as deck lists are open.
Holy moly, look at this. The whole thing being played on turn 2 now has insane synergy with the imp. And if that succubus can actually be played before the attack with the whole fiend. Ooh, okay. I wouldn't mind actually playing the succubus first, because this hand is not that powerful, although the potion will actually make a big minion. But the succubus itself is actually 4/3, right? When it has no downside, like here, because you cycle the card, is actually the perfect card against druids, right? Because it's a big minion that doesn't die to anything like, you know, hero power. It has to be a wrath, it has to be a swipe, and so many different minions on the board already that require that.
He gets it. Second try, Silverware Golem is discarded. And going into, well, 6 mana for Kolento, admittedly. This is a pretty scary board on Jackie's side of the field. And Kolento, he led the druid. It's not great against this deck, but I can also understand wanting to just try and get a win with it. If Kolento can get a win with this druid, then his lineup's biggest weakness will be out of the way. So maybe he's going to need a couple of shots with it. He probably realizes that. Just wanted to queue it up early.
I had to actually sync our YouTubes because it seemed like you were ahead. So sorry for skipping, guys, that turn from Kolento, but he played a Fandral with the Wrath, as we have seen that.
I just see the future. My bad.
Yeah, we can already, like, you know, skip forward to see who wins the entire final. But we're gonna just cast it, you know. Like we don't know the outcome.
Yeah, because we totally know everything. I mean, caster vision, am I right?
But in all seriousness, if people are actually believing that it's pre-recorded, we are getting a live feed from Spain that is being broadcasted live through YouTube, and we get that YouTube feed to our Twitch, so we can transfer that to your Twitch at homes, at phones, at iPads, at tablets, Androids, and all other systems, even Linux, for your pleasure.
Even Linux. The sacrifices we make for you. That's a bit convoluted, but we make it work. Blood Fury Potion on the Succubus, get the nice trade on the Fandral. You cannot leave that up because Nourish is a massive, massive threat. Would get Kolento to Ultimate Infestation next turn with the Fandral on board and allowed him to continue clearing. So even though it is 7 damage trade, it's a necessary 7 damage sacrifice.
The circle of life is over.
Another great reason for Jackie to trade off that Fandral there, Malfurion the Pestilent, coming in hot on turn number 7. You definitely do not want Kolento to have 2 free poisonous spiders. So, wise by Jackie once more. And from here, there's no straightforward play, as his hand is a little bit awkward. Can't play a 4-drop and a 2-drop this turn as you're only on 5 mana.
almost out of time.
Going for...
Yeah, Jackie's struggling with this one a little bit, but just going for as many stats on board as he can.
Oh man, this halfing is actually now kinda painful. The lack of the Malkazor Imp is now biting him back. But at the same time, he developed so much stats on board. It's incredible, but the double swipe will ruin the entire board and the entire hand. And that is spelling good game. Almost. Oh, okay, the Crystal Weaver actually saves that whole thing. Whew, that was close.
It does. But Jackie's deck is well equipped for getting the board early on and for keeping control of it with low mana cost, high statted minions like Lithikari Fellhound, like the Howl Fiend. You sacrifice your hand to make your board stronger. But once you lose that board, consequently, you have a very difficult time getting it back. So Jackie only has one copy of Bone Mare, and that's his top end. There's no Blood Reaver Gul'dan. The board building tools are really, really poor with just 1 or 2 cards. He really relies on taking that board from the beginning and spiraling that entire game out of his opponent's control. Now that Kolento has some control back, this one's going to be over.
Yep. Oh, look at that. A young priestess appeared. We did talk today about her.
We did. Young Priestess. She's pretty cool.
Alright, well, Jackie-chan is in a pickle a little bit. Even with that librarian that will net him a card right now, it's not looking great. The potential, like even, you know, spawn of additional minion from any spell right now is huge since it just gets Kolento back on board. Hero power at the same time will give him an additional clear every single turn, because most of the minions that Jackie-chan is playing have less than 4 HP.
Yeah, pretty much everything that Jackie plays can be removed instantaneously by Kolento. And no, Jackie didn't miss a hero power that turn before. He elected not to hero power to save 2 health because his card would have been discarded by the Howl Fiend anyway. So, try as you might, chat. This is not a win for you this time. And this is not going to be a win for Jackie.
Exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, honestly, this is coming down to that double swipe turn. If Kolento hadn't had both swipes in sequence, Jackie would have been able to keep the majority of his board healthy. Because the Druid's AoE overall is rather weak. But 8 damage to 1 and a consecration to the rest, that's good enough.
Well, that is 11 damage going to the face from Jackie-chan, additional 3 damage from the hero power, 1 of lethal. So this is looking pretty grim for Jackie for the first game, but at the same time it's a recurring theme. He loses the first game with the warlock, then he picks it again and wins the second game.
Yeah, but the issue there is he doesn't usually lose the first game to druid. In every other series we've seen Jackie play, the druid has been the deck that struggles for his opponent. It's the deck that Jackie hopes that his opponent has to queue up last and that Jackie can get 1 or 2 wins against with his warlock and his priest, namely. Now that Kolento's queued up the druid first and gotten a win with it in a matchup that is likely favored for Jackie, I'm worried about Jackie's odds going forward.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. Like this is the way it's in Conquest, right? If you're targeting a specific deck archetype, and in this case something alongside like a druid, and that druid steals a win, your chances are going significantly to be lower than you were expecting them to be. And we have seen that in previous games when he was able to prey upon druids, but in this case, it's gonna be totally different game than what we have seen in the semifinals from what we have seen in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, in Jackie's match versus RDU, for instance, his warlock beat the druid. Priest beat RDU's warlock, and Jackie's priest is very anti-aggro, so that one made a lot of sense. And then his paladin beat the druid. So it was the druid that lost 2 out of the 3 games for RDU there. Now that Kolento's gotten that win, Jackie's going to need to find some other way for his warlock and his priest to find those wins. Priest, potentially against Kolento's warlock, I could see picking up a win. But even still, that was a pretty close game for Jackie against RDU. None of these matchups, though Jackie is soft-targeting the lineup from Kolento, are heavily favored for Jackie. They're all still rather close.
Alright, Jackie's switching to the paladin this time. And this is a great deck to counter the paladin. To counter the priest. It's aggressive enough to punish the combo nature of a deck that can just struggle to have the right answers to an aggressive deck, while the paladin thrives on consistency. All while for being consistent, basically.
Very different strategies between the two decks. The priest inherently is inconsistent, but the paladin wants to nail that 1, 2, 3, 4 curve every single game that it possibly can. And the priest, certainly, if it hits the nuts, if it hits, Dragonfire Potion, Pint-Size Horror, early Shadow Word Pains, can remove everything that the paladin develops. But especially from these openings, it's looking like Jackie's going to have a little bit of leeway here, be able to develop something on board and likely land a pretty impactful Megasaur.
Yep. It's actually the first time where we see Finja being played in this tournament, and is being buffed. I'm assuming that in this case, J4ckiechan would actually prefer to have a bigger stats on the 1-drops, the Vilefin Inquisitors, since they can be played next turn, both of them. So that would be a lot of damage coming ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Finja being 4 attack, though, means that it'll be easier to proc.
You mean 3 attack?
Once it actually comes down on turn 5. Or 3 attack, yeah. So now it can get a clear on a Northshire Cleric, for instance, or an Acolyte of Pain.
Alright.
But usually you have some sort of follow-up to Finja, like Blessing of Kings, or Sunkeeper Tarim, or Spike Ridge Steed that makes the trades viable anyway. So not a super necessary buff, but not horrible.
Alright, well, you can see the power of the Relying Blade. What's the difference between Relying Blade and True Silver Champion? When it's being able to be played 1 turn before and get that tempo swing that you usually need to protect your Murlocs. It's a huge difference between having it on turn 3 and turn 4 in this case. You would have lost one of the Murlocs already, or just gave an additional card advantage to the to the priest, which is detrimental to what he wants to achieve, because he wants just to be way faster than the priest.
And Kolento would like to keep Jackie off the board as much as possible. We saw that with the Spirit Lash onto the Grimscale Chum, trying to prevent Rockpool Hunter or a Coin into Murloc War Leader from Jackie on turn 2. Really liberal use of Spirit Lash. But with that double Vilefin, Kolento has the option of removing one of these, cannot, however, remove both. So if Jackie wants an adaptation next turn, he's going to be able to get it. If there was a Blessing of Kings in hand, he'd have something to land it on.
Alright, well, seems pretty straightforward. I would most likely commit to Finja here, since it cannot be dealt with the Dragonfire Potion, since it's what's turned too early. At the same time, though, the problem is that makes Kolento hesitant to play a minion that can be killed by the Finja, since that will make a potential Megazord just insanely powerful. At the same time, if you have Finja before you can play Megazord, it's insane.
Yeah, do you want to get the immediate value of the adaptation and maybe start going aggressive, start pushing face? Or do you want to take it a little bit slower, get a little bit greedier, play that Finja first, especially since you've got the coin? I do want to check out Kolento's Priestlet real quick.
Well, if he wants to play the Finja, he needs to kill the Rented Elemental, since that minion will otherwise make Dragonfire Potion available next turn. So he cannot leave it to... Oh, he actually left it for the Finja for the next turn. Woo, that's risky.
Yeah, so this is what what I was thinking. There's no Shadowward Horror and Pint-Sized Potion in this list. I don't think any of the Rizaka's priests that we've seen have had Pint-Sized Horror in them. But you're absolutely right. Dragonfire Potion with the Radiant Elemental on the board, getting that discount, that's incredibly risky. And if Jackie lost this board for essentially for free from Kolento, his reload is really, really bad. So this is ballsy.
You wish to
Yeah, it is. It really is. To be honest, I completely didn't expect him to do that, since it can backfire heavily, and he's being pretty favored in this matchup. So when he leaves an option, like a big out for his opponent, that might backfire really badly.
Oh, this is good.
Has to be Megazord, right? It's not a common scenario that you get 3 Murlocs buffed by 1 Megazord.
I'm trading first. I'm procking this Finja. 100%. I just don't know which one I'm killing. I'm thinking Radiant Elemental, so Rallying Blade Finja in, and then Megasword, you get 5 Murlocs. And if you get Wind Fury, you can attack with Finja again.
Yeah, Wind Fury is a good point. I was thinking about additional buff on +1/+1 from Adapt, so you can kill Talon Priest on its own, and then you still have the weapon.
That too. Divine Shield would be nice as well.
I'm in charge now.
In this case... Alright. He needs to sacrifice Patches if he wants to attack with Finja, since he needs to make space, right? For the Megazord. Unless he doesn't want to play Megazord. Ooh, there's the Wall Eater. Okay.
Ooh, look at... Holy, this could be a lot of damage. Okay, well, all 3 of these are quite good adaptations. J4ckiechan going to sacrifice a little bit of aggression to get that trade there with the Vilefin and just spread the stats out a little bit more. This entire board still does die to Dragonfire Potion, but Jackie can get the raid that Kolento would have played it last turn had he had it in hand, because it was playable with the Radiant Elemental on board.
And Jackie's praying for it to not be a top deck, and it seems like it's not. So Kolento might be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not a good sign. It's just probably...
It's not a good light. It's
just the Inquisitor holding the light.
Yeah.
Alright, how much damage is that?
It's a light that's met with a bunch of
10,
Murlocs.
14, 18,
5,
24.
10, 14, 18, 24.
So no way of getting lethal this turn.
Not quite.
And he
Very
doesn't
close.
play Blue Warriors from the deck, so that's not an option as well, since if he would have actually attacked Finja into the Novice Engineer and get 2 Blue Warriors, it would have been lethal, but he doesn't play them at all.
Nah, no Murloc Paladins are playing Bluegill now. Occasionally you'll see them sub out the Grimscale Chum for Corpse Takers or Stonehill Defenders. And you may see some Cold Light Seers, but nah, you're never going to be seeing Bluegill.
Another Wall Eater from Finja wouldn't be enough, because that's only +6 damage, so it would be equal to what Finja does. Alright.
And again, the only punish here would be the Dragonfire Potion, which Kolento has been really trying to find, hasn't had the luck yet, unfortunately. He can shield the Engineer and have 1 more draw towards it, and just hope that J4ckiechan doesn't have 2 damage in hand.
That would be actually pretty decent call, since we had seen 1 Relying Blade and 1 Truce of a Champion. No, we didn't say actually Truce of a Champion, so there are still weapons. But this is his out. He needs to go for it. And unfortunately that's not a glyph, so it doesn't get your spell discounted by 2. So no way of getting Dragonfire Potion anymore.
Like to play with fire?
Kolento's still going through with the turn. Maybe he can find something, he thinks, to clean this board up. But it needs to be 4 spell procs. And Pyromancer's only got 2 health.
Is someone injured?
So that is going to be game number 2 over to J4ckiechan. tying up the series 1-1.
Well, Kolento goes for a little meme here, just drawing the cards. This will take a while.
Yeah, he's gonna draw 10. It's a pretty good circle.
Alright, well, that final 2 damage is gonna get done by Finja. 1-1 in the grand final between Kolento and j4ckiechan. Expected, to be honest. I would say that Jackie's deck... the paladin from Jackie's lineup is the one deck that is most, let's say, anticipated to take a win first.
Yeah, it's the most susceptible. Well, the priest is the most susceptible deck to the paladin, and also the paladin just interacts really well with the lack of consistent AoE from the priest. So had Dragonfire Potion been in hand for Kolento any turn 5 and on, this would have been a very different game. But the nature of the Rizaka's Priest in general, the fact that it's only running 1 copy of each card, means that you're less likely to have it. And luckily for j4ckiechan, Kolento did not have the AoE he needed this game.
Well, he does play just 1 Dragonfire Potion, right? So the chance of having it is not that high in the first place. That's the problem when you play a Highlander deck. You're relying on having specific answers to specific scenarios when you're only playing 1 copy of it. And in this particular matchup, Dragonfire Potion is the MVP. Otherwise, you're just falling way much behind. Alright.
Okay, so Kolento still has his Priest, of course, which we just saw fall to the Paladin. He also has his own Warlock deck. But we're going to be going into the Priest Mirror first and foremost. Very different decks, 2 different heroes. Kolento, Rizaka's Priest, j4ckiechan, aggressive combo Priest.
Just a reminder, guys, the most expensive card from j4ckiechan's deck is actually Awakenai Soul Priest with 4 mana.
Only 1 copy of Shadow Word Death, I believe, is the reach of Jackie's removal. He does have 2 Awakenais and 2 Circles, but he's not going to be looking to remove a lot this game. Kolento doesn't have really substantial threats. There is some mid-game that the Rizaka's Priest can sort of put together, but it's nothing too threatening. It's not like j4ckiechan's playing against any tempo deck right now. This isn't Rogue, this isn't Zoo.
Oh, and I would love to see a Coin Shadow Ascendant in 1 to Coin Shadow Ascendant in 2. Whew, that would have been crazy.
Spicy card right there.
Still a good opener. Radiant Elemental into a Acolyte of Pain on curves is always good. Then it can be followed up by a Shadow Ascendant and another Radiant Elemental. Or you can just go for the Shadow Ascendant on turn 2, but that's unfortunately weak to the Radiant Elemental. So it seems like just a Tark Creeper alone here might be good enough.
Challenges the Radiant Elemental. j4ckiechan's deck is much more potent when a Radiant Elemental is left up than Kolento's is. So Jackie's fine to leave up Kolento's Radiant Elemental, force it to trade into Tark Reaper, if it wants to, which it absolutely will not want to, but put up that little wall and maybe start generating some value off of his own Radiant Elemental going forward. But lo and behold, a Tark Reaper for Kolento as well.
It might be perceived as a mirror match. Who knew? Jokes aside, the decks are pretty different, so yeah. Especially with that Shadow Ascendant, it's kind of like a meme card.
I'm not behind it yet.
It has a nice
But
artwork.
I really want Jackie to convince me about Shadow Ascendant. It's not bad here. He's just gonna develop more on board.
Oh my. Buffing the Tark Creeper is actually the best buff possible here, since it's so impactful with the Divine Spirit for the next turn if Jackie would like to pull that off. At the same time, If it's gonna get buffed again with the Shadow Ascendant, then it goes into the range of a Shadow Word Death, and that would be unlucky.
What is a loon's will?
Why does Jackie bring a crab? Because his deck is tailored this way, so he has a chance of making a easy, trade-off against Murlocs and Paladins. Sorry, what am I talking about? About pirates. Against pirates.
I wonder.
Long day.
Yeah, his version of Priest versus the Dragon Synergy combo Priest is more tailored towards taking down aggro decks with double Akanai Circle and the Galaka Crawler. Still can struggle in some cases because you don't see Shadow Word Pain and there's only one Shadow Word Death, but it gets on board a lot quicker with, he's got 2 copies of Injured Blade Master with the circles as well.
Oh my.
Raza on 4, Anduin on 8.
But is it good enough?
There's not much more you can say about that.
Yeah.
Is it enough? That's a good point.
Since if Jackie can actually get to a point where that Divine Spirit will be putting one of his minions on an incredible range, like over 20 plus, then this might be just good enough to kill Kolento in one big swing. But Jackie needs cycle, Jackie needs card draw, so that Acolyte of Pain sitting in his hand would love to have been played instead of the Talon Print this turn.
As much as Jackie's deck seems like it should be good at drawing cards, we have not seen it actually accomplish that in any of his matches yet. Haven't seen him go off with Pyro Cleric and Circle, haven't seen Acolyte of Pain draw more than 1 or 2 cards, and never when it's really counted. This is a combo deck, and by nature it requires a lot of cards to do what it's actually trying to do.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's something that Jackie didn't...
Big creeper.
That's something that Jackie didn't want to see. Because now it's in the range of a Shadow Word Death, and that makes it super awkward. Because then he loses an actual minion straight away. Dragonfire Potion is being drawn from... is an option to be drawn from the Shadow Vision. Silence is not bad as well. That denies the incredible buffs on the Tar Creeper right now, so... That's almost the same outcome as a Shadow Word Death, but at the same time, you can actually play additional development on the board, since it costs 0.
Neutralizes the minion the other way. And now that the taunt's out of the way, Kolento can start getting some valuable trades with the Raza. And continue healing up his minions over and over for free. Could also play the Akanai here and kill off that Shadow Ascendant with the hero power instead of playing it a little bit more defensively and healing up the Tar Creeper. I would maybe favor playing a little bit more clear here, but this is fine as well. The Tar Creeper is a nice big wall, which is making everything that Jackie does pretty awkward.
Well, that Acolyte of Pain needs to be played this turn. Honestly, I do believe that it should have been played earlier, maybe even turn 3, instead of that Shadow Ascendant. Instead of that Tar Creeper. Oh, no. The Tar Creeper was way better. But on the next turn, like, Jackie is a typical combo deck, so he needs card draw. He needs it immediately. And that Acolyte of Pain is sitting there since the mulligan.
I just realized I wish Jackie was playing Silence Priest.
How come?
This deck just seems like it's trying to do the exact same thing as Silence Priest.
Mm-hmm.
But the minions don't seem as well tailored to accomplishing the goal. Would you rather not just play Humongous Razor Leafs and...
Yeah, instead of Injured Blade Masters, right?
Ancient Watchers and whatnot instead of Injured Blade Masters? Yeah, because Silence Priest is still one of the best decks in the game against Jade Druid. If you're trying to target Jade Druid, might as well just go all out.
Yeah.
Silence Priest does it better than this, just bigger minions.
Yeah, I agree with you. It requires less of a setup, basically, right? Since just the Humongous Razor Leaf on its own is pretty threatening.
I don't know. Jackie's there's got to be
I wonder.
some method to his madness, but
I mean,
that's
he's
just
in
my
the
comment.
grand final, right? So he's doing something right.
Spirit Lash, Aucheneye, not the greatest two cards together, but it would clear up a lot of this board. Jackie really suffering from not having inner fire at all this game. And even if he does find it now, his minion health totals are so low that it would not be effective.
Well, he can heal it immediately with the Circle of Healing, but honestly, this is way too late. Even if he heals all of those minions, the Injured Blade Master goes to 7, Talon Priest to 4, the Crab to 3, and then proceeds to play the Divine Spirit. That still puts the Injured Blade Master onto 14, while his opponent has already 14 damage on the board.
This is just rough. Every bit of board presence that Jackie manages to find is just being removed easily by Kolento. Kolento's deck is so much more flexible. Jackie's has one game plan,
And currently
and he
crumbles.
really struggled to execute it.
Alright, well, now what Kolento just needs to do is to deal with those minions on board, and that's basically GG. While he has a 0-mana smite, it's definitely helpful. The Spirit Lash deals 2 damage AoE as well. Alongside that, Pyromancer is actually enough to kill 2 out of 3 of the minions. And the Kazakus Potion is pretty sick as well. So, what do you do as Jackie Chan?
Let the pain speak to me.
To be honest, I mean, we can try to talk about this game, but the deck is just...
game's over.
Yeah, first, I think the deck from Jackie Chan is just not well positioned against a Razakus Priest, like, at all. Razakus has just too many answers to whatever
It's too
is
reactive.
happening, right?
You need to line this deck up against J-Druid. J-Druid doesn't have the removal that Razakus Priest has. J-Druid doesn't have... J-Druid just has other goals, right? J-Druid needs to accomplish, like, 4 different things before it could actually remove anything. Razakus Priest just removes things. And then suddenly Shadow Reaper Anduin comes down, and then you're also worried about dying.
So, it seems like it's bottom right for Jackie Chan, and bottom right is PogChamp.
Crap. This is looking like a, it's looking like a Kappa victory right here. I should not have put my vote into the PogChamp corner.
Not all who wander are lost.
Not all who wander are lost, but Jackie, you have lost.
12 damage from Mind Blast, that's not something you often see actually. Usually it's just typical 10. And this time it actually dealt 12. So, 2-1 for Kolento. Game point. Who will be the champion? Will it be the Kolento? Will it be the Jackie Chan? GameGune 2017, only one deck left for Kolento, and that is his paladin. What is his last deck? Rogue was banned.
It is his warlock.
Warlock.
His
all right.
warlock. Just a traditional standard zoo warlock. Whereas Jackie Chan still needs to find a win with that priest and with his own warlock. So a much longer road for Jackie Chan. First place, 12,000 euro. Second place, 6,000. So essentially, these guys are playing to double their money right now. Second place is great, don't get me wrong, but you've come this far, you want to be the champion.
Correct. Alright, where's my PogChamp? Here we go. So as you can see, Kolento and Jackie Chan are currently discussing what was happening in the game. Kolento on the left, Jackie on the right. I'm 12, by the way. And let's go back to us. So, Cora, how are we doing?
No, doing all right. Chat's getting a little saucy, trying to keep them in line, but it's really hard to wrangle these rascals. You know how it is, Lothar.
Yeah, I know. I think we are the only moderators in that chat, honestly.
And it really doesn't help that I'm egging them on 90% of the time.
Yep.
Your soul shall be mine.
Alright, we're going back into the game. This might be the last game here in San Sebastian for this GameGune edition. Kolento on the game point. We'll see who will be the champion.
It's a battle of the zoos. Can Jackie Chan out-zoo Kolento Zoo? Or will the traditional zoo out-zoo the discard zoo?
Fantastic.
I just don't know.
Alright, well, Jackie Chan has his Malkazar Imp in the opening hand, and it's actually more important for him than for Kolento. Since he relies on the discard mechanics so much more than Kolento's version. Blood-free potion when he's on the draw, I think it's a keep. I wouldn't mind keeping Malkazar Imp into Blood-free potion and probably discarding the... mulliganing away Direwolf Alpha and Lakari Fellhound. Because Lakari Fellhound...
Yeah, I gotta go a little bit harder into one-drop specifically. If Kolento had a one-drop and then, double one-drops on turn 2, for instance, and Jackie didn't have anything to play on 2, Jackie would have really regretted keeping that Lakari Fellhound.
I wonder.
I'm getting a little bit tired. I was just casting by watching our broadcast instead of watching the feed. Holy moly. Yeah, this is getting late.
Lothar, we're in the home stretch, man. We're so close.
10 hours so far. Alright.
So close.
Having the Blood Imp on turn 1 is actually huge since it's directly affecting the health totals of that Malkazar Imp. Obviously, there's one option for it to be a trade since Kolento is running the veterans, but you don't play around that. Definitely not.
Speak your peace. You are not the boss of me.
Does Kolento run removal in the lock deck? Honestly, I can't remember, but we're gonna check. He has one Mortal Coil in it and 2 Soulfires. If you're curious about his deck, you can check this link.
Wow, look at that link. That's a pretty sweet link right there. It's like it has all the deck lists in it.
Ah, interesting.
Good lord, chat. Would you talk to your mother that way? So disappointed in these random internet people.
Yeah. Who would have thought that internet anonymity would be such a disastrous thing?
How do you deal with the objectification, Lothar?
Alright. I'm just ignoring it, you know? It's okay. Patches in hand for Kolento will not help him achieve board control right now, especially with that captain in hand. Yikes.
Yeah, not too hot. That's for sure. Kolento's start was not bad, but especially with that Blood Fury potion pickup. Okay, now J4ckiechan has some serious game here.
Yeah, the Blood Fury potion is actually sick. I was kind of surprised that he did mulligan it away, to be honest, because when he's on the coin and he has a 1-drop, that is such a commanding lead when he just played on a demon, right? But in this case, he has it anyway, just 1 turn later, and he can kill the... this is actually an important trade, since he knows the patches is in Kolento's hand, so he can deny the patches being a 2-2 if he goes for the potion and trade on the captain.
I think that's absolutely what you have to do. Especially since Jackie saw the patches didn't come out when the captain was played, so he knows that it's in hand. You need to go ahead and clear off that captain right now. And just sort of hope that Kolento doesn't want to play the patches and trade in with the Akros veteran for some reason.
Well, he has access to the Soulfire, but now it's kind of tricky, since he has the Doomguard in his hand. I don't know if I would like to risk discarding the Doomguard right now. The problem is also that the veteran is actually pretty bad in general when his opponent still has access to both Voidwalkers at some point in the game. Alright, he goes for the patches and the veteran trade, which I very much like. The only problem is that since the next turn will be just 1 card drawn, so if he goes for the Doomguard, 100% he will gonna get rid of his entire hand. That means he will lose a lot of tempo in the upcoming turns to get back his card advantage.
The Howlfiend would have been nice when the Malchezaar's Imp was on board, but now that Jackie's lost it and doesn't have the Silverware Golem or the Clutch Mother in hand, he's going to be maybe a little bit more hesitant to actually play it out. But he is ahead on board for now. Tentative lead, but a little bit of a lead nonetheless.
Alright, well, Despicable Dreadlord doesn't make an impact yet, but with the fact that it has 5 HP, pushes J4ckiechan to just trade with something on his board additionally. That means he needs a buff. That means he needs his own Akros veteran, he needs the Crystal Weaver, he needs a Soulfire, or he needs a Doomguard, basically, of his own. That's about it.
Yeah, wisely taking the trades here. Just trying to keep some board lead if possible.
Woo! That's ballsy! And the Doomguard gets discarded, so...
Ugh.
That was really
That's
ballsy.
rough.
I'm actually surprised he didn't go for the tap first.
If Kolento had won that 50-50, man, this game may have just been over. So, really important for Jackie that that was not the case. Malchezaar's Imp picked up, so Jackie gets to cycle this Howlfiend.
Well, that's a little
That's
bit
probably the
too
reason
late.
why you have it in the deck. You never want to draw it anyway.
That's kind of so funny that the Fledgling on an empty board is such a massive card to be played, but against the specific deck from J4ckiechan, the Felhound is such a massive body that has exactly 3 attack, counters the Fledgling perfectly. It's like tailored to beat the vicious Fledgling.
Man, I'm just really surprised that Kolento didn't life tap first.
I mean, you know, he goes for the high roll, right? If he doesn't life tap and he hits the other card, then he just slams the Doomguard, deals additional 5 damage and has a commanding lead. But otherwise, he's pretty in a bad spot. So it was kind of
It's like
a risk, right?
spending spending 2 mana to have a 66% chance that you get to play a 5/7 that turn, and you lose the card, but you know, at least you guarantee that you have a really powerful minion on the board that your opponent can't deal with immediately, and actually the J4ckiechan's deck can't deal with, you know, hardly at all. So it was really ballsy play. Had it paid off, Kolento may have just won the game then and there.
Well,
But especially, you know, now that it did go so horribly wrong, J4ckiechan is firmly ahead on board with a Clutch Mother in hand and a Silverware Golem, and now Howl Fiend is suddenly good.
a second Felhowl would have been better. But the Halfin is good enough. Now the question is, does Kolento have enough of resources to sustain this battle till 10? Because then he can spawn his Despicable Dreadlord and... Actually, what demons did he play? Flame Imp, Malkazar Imp, Despicable Dreadlord...
Oh, you know what? No. Kolento was on 6 mana last turn. Forget everything I'm talking about.
No, he could have still played the life tap, just then he does bank that he doesn't discard.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
card.
but
That was the point.
But he wouldn't have been able to Doomguard that
Yeah,
turn
obviously.
then.
But I was just
So
talking.
the whole point was, yeah, the whole point was wanting to be ahead on board. Yeah, forget me.
All right, well, that's kind of unlucky. That gave the Silver Golem an actual charge right now. When you think about it.
It's actually really sick. I don't know that it's super necessary. I think J4ckiechan's just got this one in the bag regardless, but that's pretty good. If Kolento was on 10 mana next turn, maybe he'd still have a shot.
Yeah, well, this is the moment where...
But the fact that Jackie's got...
Sorry, please.
No, I'm just saying the fact that Jackie's got one more turn still of being able to develop an attack before Blood Reaver's online means that he's just got this one wrapped up, I think.
And this is the moment when the deck is just pure PogChamp, because the synergy suddenly works so well, right? But this doesn't happen so often. All the PogChamps.
Yeah, this is why you play it, because it can be really fun if it actually works out. If it doesn't work out, it can feel like you're beating your head against a wall, but when you get the good discards and you get the overpowering stats on board very early with your undercosted demons, then it's a really cool deck.
So is he still alive? He should be. This is 6, 9, 10 damage, goes through with 5, no, minus 2.
7
so
plus the Doomguard.
yeah. Not good enough to actually have lethal yet. So Kolento will be able to play Gul'dan next turn. That puts him up by 5 armor and getting him 2 Despicable Dreadlords. But the problem is, Clutch Mother Zavaz right now will be like a 8-8? 6-6 actually. Okay. Ooh. So that Crystal Weaver is actually better than
Soulfire's just lethal.
Zavas. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah. I believe Crystal Weaver would have been as well. Yeah.
Crystal Weaver was plus 5 damage, basically plus 4 since it was giving... it should go through the Voidwalker first anyway, so it was lethal with... Yeah,
Pick your poison.
with
Jackie
the
had
Crystal
it there.
Weaver.
Tied series.
2 for 2!
Now it's going to be Kolento's Warlock deck up against Jackie's Priest in game number 5 for all the marbles. Like $6,000 worth of marbles. It's a lot of marbles.
And the trophy.
Hopefully the trophy's not made of marbles.
Doesn't seem like it.
More likely some sturdy form of metal.
Or plastic.
Yeah.
GG, I was the
More
combo
protected
lock.
if you drop
That's
it.
like a new meme or something?
If, like, you're playing against a streamer and you come in and you're like, GG, I was the druid.
Oh, I see. Wow.
I guess. I don't know. Chat seems like the memes have gone downhill. I am not impressed.
Yeah, the chat needs to step up their game. Alright, it's 2-2. This is the final game of the day. Guys, this is hype! Let's get hyped. So, PogChamps for J4ckiechan, Kappas for Kolento. Write it in the chat. We're gonna see who guys are you rooting for. So everyone grab your keyboards, grab your touchscreens, and write those emotes right now.
Kappas for Kolento. PogChamps for Jackie. Where do your loyalties lie, chat? Tell us now.
The light shall bring victory.
More importantly, tell your fellow chatters so they can judge you relentlessly.
Who? Do you see what I see?
Alright.
Do you see Kolento's opening hand?
I do. I'm seeing it. There's a lot of 1-drops in it. But I'm also seeing a lot of PogChamps in the chat. I don't know.
It seems like...
They think that Jackie's got a good chance at this one.
It seems like J4ckiechan has just a lot of fans that spend their time on Twitch chat. Or at least I believe so.
That's fair.
Alright, let's put Kappa here.
Jackie's native land.
Next to Kolento. And let's put the PogChamp next to J4ckiechan. Here we go.
Alright. Game number 5. It's all coming down to this. It's been a long series. It's been a hell of a long day, guys. But this is going to be the last game of the tournament. J4ckiechan kicking it off with 2 Galaka Crawlers. And Kolento has a South Sea Captain in hand. So, J4ckiechan may be able to get some serious value off of those puppies. But Kolento has back-to-back 1-drops on turn 1. Both of them flame imps. This is a ton of pressure right out of the gate.
Sick. J4ckiechan needs immediate board control, and that means those Galaka Crawlers are coming in handy. Coming in hot. 2-3 alligators, crabs, whatever you call them. Strictly better.
No, they're totally alligators.
Yeah, strictly better
just
river
looking-
crocolisk.
Oh, okay, that's what you were going for.
Yeah.
Crabbigators.
I mean, maybe not strictly because the crocolisk are basic cards and those are rares, so
yeah.
that's the difference. For those free-to-play players.
It's just a direct upgrade, but River Croc has a special place in my heart. Still drafted in Arena sometimes. It's useful.
Many possibilities.
Alright, so Kolento has access to an Imp and a Soulfire this turn, and that means he doesn't virtually lose a card. That means he just buys tempo by playing a 1-mana removal. And I would say that's good enough to warrant killing that crab and just go 6 damage to the face. It doesn't matter what card you lose, because we're not gonna meant to play it anyway.
Oh, Jackie is not looking happy about this one.
Yeah.
He would really be wanting to have Auchenai in hand so he could search for Circle with that Shadow Visions. Try to find a clear on turn 4.
So,
But with neither piece right now, all he can do is try to develop in response to this.
well, there's a small chance, right? He can go for the Shadow Vision this turn, pick a Circle of Healing, and then hope for a top deck Auchenai. It's a very far-fetched plan, but that's an out. And I don't believe playing a minion, like a 3-4 minion right now, it's an out to help him, you know, getting back into this game.
I mean, it's good, but it's still gonna require some more. Landing this crab is a nice start.
Ooh, okay, well that's perfect.
Still gonna need Auchenai, still gonna need Circle. But yeah, you're right. At least he has something to play alongside it.
It's not only that, but also he buffs the crab even further beyond. So it's gonna be a 4-5, and that means it's not killable on board.
I must consider.
And Kolento's still 1 turn away from Doomguard. Would need, you know, second Soulfire or Immortal Coil, some form of buff or additional damage to actually get this Galaka Crawler out of there. And Kolento doesn't want to sacrifice his own board. Because the second J4ckiechan's able to stick something, then it gets Divine Spirited. Then Jackie has, you know, not necessarily just a huge threat. He's got a trade tool that Kolento can really not clear off very easily at all. This is even just a 410. Like, that's a huge threat.
Alright, well, the Acros Veteran actually comes in handy here. Kills the Shadow Ascendant, a sight that we have seen today many times. Kolento, you need to hit that face with that 3 damage flame him. No joke. He's gonna trade, okay. Well,
I like the trade. The trade is really hedging his bets against Divine Spirit. Still not good against a Cabal Talon Priest Divine Spirit, for instance, or Circle Divine Spirit. So this could be pretty punished for Kolento. He's just throwing away one of his threats, essentially, and hoping that Jackie doesn't have a way for this crab to become out of control.
honestly, I do
But
believe...
he's gonna hedge his bets a little bit.
I do believe that damage output is too important right now to just trade. Because Jackie is still at a healthy 20.
Ooh. The Talon Priest pickup that's big.
It's bonkers.
You don't even need to Divine Spirit this turn. You can just Talon Priest and heal even.
Yeah, that's actually good enough, right?
It's a 4-7. Kill off the Malchezaar's Imp. Go back to 4-5. Kolento's board still doesn't kill the crab on board.
This kills the crab. Oh my god, that's some old meme. I wonder if everyone used that in a tournament. I don't think so.
Okay. Gonna go for the Divine Spirit. Just put as much health on this crab as possible. And yeah, Jackie Chan's gonna be forced to throw in this Talon Priest, but now he has board. He's found a little bit of reprieve here. He's picked up a bit of a lead, and that Shadow Visions could be another copy of Divine Spirit or a Circle of Healing for his injured Blade Master. He's gonna be able to stick something and likely keep it around.
Must consider.
Trade is saying if he didn't trade, that thing would have been unkillable. Well, the problem is, at some point, that will happen. Because Kolento is just not able to keep up with those minions. Alright, it seems like comeback is possible for Jackie.
Ooh, that coil's a bad draw.
Why do you call?
That is pretty awkward, to be honest. Ooh. Alright, we start with Shadow Vision. And see what Jackie Chan will pick up from it. If he gets the second Divine Spirit, that's gonna be insane.
Circle's really nice. Even Interfire is really good. Jackie Chan could just have a 7-7 on board. And with that Cleric pickup, okay, now Circle is sick.
Alright, well, Kolento still has a
This-
chance if he gets to pick up a Gul'dan and he doesn't die before that.
There's the Circle.
Ooh, the circle is fantastic.
The-
Gives 2
The
draws.
start from Kolento was absurd, but Jackie just... He held on right until that last second, and... Man, it is gonna pay off. This is sick. Finally, we're seeing some of that draw potential.
Pyromancer and Rident Elementals. So not really anything impactful right now. There's still 8 damage on the board, so half of Kolento's HP. There's the Gul'dan, but he is 3 turns away. And it's not looking good, that's what I can tell you right now. I don't believe that there's a way for Kolento to actually take the game back. Because he was gonna get smashed for at least 5 damage next turn if he plays the Fledgling this turn. That means if he's gonna tap, it's gonna be 7 damage, and he's left with 9 HP for the upcoming turn, and Jackie Chan will just develop the board and set up lethal. So it's too late for Kolento.
Man, talk about a comeback for Jackie. And this was after Kolento won game number 1 with his druid, which is the deck that Jackie wants to try and take advantage of. Not enough.
Draw first. We might actually see an inner fire here as well. Nope. Inner fire would have been just 10 damage to the face and set up lethal for the next turn already. But in this case, just by playing the Aukenai Soul Priest, he could just deal additional damage next turn, but he's setting up additional 6 damage. He knows that Kolento has no tools to deal with a massive board like that, so even drawing a taunt minion right now is not really that helpful.
Still 2 turns away from Bloodweaver Gul'dan. Nothing that Kolento can do, and Jackie Chan is your GameGune champion.
Who would have thought that the meme decks are gonna make it? Jackie Chan makes a comeback, wins 3-2 against Kolento, and that's a huge PogChamp. Look at this huge PogChamp happening here right now.